Great. Hi, this is Darla Demaro from HeartWork Organizing, and you can find me at heartworkorg.com, but it's not about me tonight. It's about HomeZada. I want to welcome Elizabeth Dodson, otherwise known as Beth Dodson, who is a principal at HomeZada. She's actually a co-founder of a product that I've been watching for about 3 years now, maybe a little bit more. HomeZada is a partner in the professional organizing industry. They are actually a corporate partner in the National Association of Professional Organizers, which is where I first found out about HomeZada. They started out as an app, just kind of a little app that I was watching and thought, wow, this is a great idea, but I hope they kind of grow up. And after a number of years, I really think they have. I'm very, very impressed with this app. You know, we all have only a certain amount of time and brain cells to spend on any kind of technology, but I really have come to believe that HomeZada is a valuable tool for myself and all of my clients. So I asked Beth if she would come on and share the nitty-gritty with HomeZada. I thought, you know, I could do it, but Beth can do it better. So I asked if she would take her time, and tonight we're just going to give you a half an hour, which I will tell you right up front is not enough time to go through the interesting points about HomeZada. But the reason I thought that I wanted to do it now specifically is in response to all of the extreme weather and disaster situations that we've been having just here in the U.S. And it's not contained just here to the U.S., but within the past just few weeks alone, we've had hurricanes, we've had earthquakes with our Mexican neighbors. We are right now dealing with, and Beth can speak to this, she's out in California, but we're dealing with wildfires that are really not where they should be. They are in areas where people live, and all of these things, all of these natural disasters and extreme weather patterns are causing people distress. They are destroying homes. They are laying waste to entire households. And when that happens, people lose possessions, and hopefully they have insurance. But if they haven't properly prepared to deal with a claim with their insurance, you know, the situation could be bad, and it actually could be terrible. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can use a tool like HomeZada to prepare for extreme weather, and I, as a professional organizer, a certified professional organizer, in fact, want to give my clients every single tool that's available. And I think that you all are going to be so impressed with HomeZada that I wanted to take just this half hour to show you what it's about. And at the end, I'm going to give Beth the floor for about 30 minutes or about 25 minutes here. And then I'm going to come back at the end and share how my being organized in this kind of way, to be truthful, before I started using HomeZada, but certainly it could be the same situation after, you know, with HomeZada. But I'll share with you my experience of having a claim on my house that honestly, literally saved me $10,000 more. To me, it was very random. It happened to everyone. It happened to you. And I want to make sure that, you know, in that situation, that you have every tool available as organized you could be, $1,000 more in your pocket, in order to do that. So stay line. We are going to wrap up 8:30. It's going to be a whirlwind getting to that point, but I will have a from my company, HeartWork Organizing, at the back. Please, take it away.
Thank you, Darla. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone, for joining us as well. A little bit of housekeeping things. I'm going to put everyone on mute, which I think I have been able to do, but I'm going to put everyone on mute except for myself. And I'm going to put everyone on mute so that we can actually have a clean presentation. I heard a little bit of audio things, but we'll get that resolved. And if you have questions, please use the chat box. However, I'm going to answer them at the end of the presentation so that we can make sure that we meet everyone's timeline. This is a recorded session, as we discussed, so you will be able to rewatch this at a later date. But then, thank you, Darla, for that wonderful introduction. I loved it. And let me tell you a little bit about HomeZada. So HomeZada is a digital home management platform. It takes into consideration a lot of different parts and pieces of managing a house. But my personal story was I just needed a tool to help me manage all the complexities in a house. And you may experience this as well. So oftentimes we buy a house, and then what ends up happening? We end up owning a house, and then we end up selling it. And we do this approximately 5 to 7 times in our lifetime. Some people tend to live in their houses longer, but approximately 5 to 7 times is the average. That's a lot of moving. But what happens during the process of owning this house? All of a sudden, you've got maintenance that needs to be repaired, or you've got maintenance that you forgot about and something therefore broke. You've got projects that are completely over budget because you just didn't know what you needed to manage. You've got all of this information and you wonder, am I properly insured or aren't I? A lot of these different things are happening in your house, and then you then take on the financial aspects and you look at, okay, so what is my house worth, which is really important because I also have to understand how much equity I have in my house in case I need it for that kitchen remodel or I need it for something else. So all of this chaos builds up, and how do we manage it all? We get lost, we get confused. And if you're like me, you probably had a lot of pieces of paper, and you probably also had different spreadsheets or goodness gracious, something knows what. But that was me. I was very challenged. I was very struggling. And so that's why I created HomeZada with my co-founders. And what does it help us do? HomeZada is a complete digital home management solution that you find online. It is safe and secure using the providers of cloud-based solutions in the world, and they have the highest level of security. And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to partner with these organizations, because we realized that our customers' information and data is theirs, and it's important that it's theirs and it's safe and secure. And the value of this and using a cloud-based solution is that you can access this data anywhere using any device as long as you have an internet connection or a cell connection. And so you can use your desktop, which I'm going to show you in the desktop version of brief demo, or you can use your mobile or your tablet, and you can interchange that at any one time. And then what ends up happening? Because we now have a centralized location for all this data about our house, and that chaos has been minimized, we now can save money because we know what's going on in our house. We can improve the value of our house through all these projects and staying on top of maintenance, and then we can manage our time more effectively. Personally, I can tell you, having HomeZada has made my time management out of this world. It's been amazing. So at a high level, what does HomeZada do for you? I'm going to get into the demo, but just at a high level, I'm going to show you quickly. It's an all-in-one suite of apps. And it's important that everything be in one location because that's what saves you money and that's what saves you time. We have a dashboard that shows you all the different icons that we offer and the features that we offer in the system. We offer an inventory app where you can track all the information about the things that you own and the spaces in your house and where everything is located in those spaces in that home. We can track maintenance. Maintenance is really important to make sure that your home is working properly. It's also healthy for your family that lives in the home and that it's running efficiently, which ultimately saves you money. We also track projects. One of the things that we realized when we built this solution is that a lot of people didn't have a construction or a project management background, and that was okay. But how could we help those individuals when our team at HomeZada did have that background? How do we help them better manage projects? How do we help them understand the cost ramifications, the time frame, and also the different items that need to be managed in order to complete an effective project? Our house is one of our largest assets. yet it's also one of our largest expenses. There was a study done in 2015 by a consumer organization, and they said that consumers spend 31% of their income on their homes. That includes their property taxes, their mortgages, their maintenance, their repairs, their projects. It is a significant amount of money. So we want to be able to provide all of that rich financial data up front to help our homeowners make the best decisions they can make, not only for their home, but also for their lives. And how are they actually going to manage all of their financing as it relates to their house? And what does that affect other areas of their personal financing? And then when you're ready to sell your house, you can differentiate your house by taking a subset of all this information and moving it forward. So let me get down into the demo of the solution. So let me just get to that. So I'm going to do a live demo. And I'm going to show you, as you can tell, I have a lot of different test accounts. I'm going to do a demo of a system that we've pre-populated with information. And so this will help you see a system when it's a little bit more further along and you can see all the different details. Once again, I am also showing you in the desktop. This is a responsive product, so it can be viewed on any different device, which just scales it down. So it's the same look and feel no matter what device you're using. The first thing we start off with is the actual dashboard. And the dashboard, you can see the different icons as I showed you earlier, but you can also see a news feed of the tasks that need to get done. So you can see here that we've got maintenance tasks, we've got content to help you understand some other little tricks and treats, because it is fall, on how to actually improve your house and how to care for it. And then obviously we make recommendations as well. You can also see tips, helpful tips on the far side of what's coming up, what maintenance is coming up, some scorecards, as well as maybe you need to know how to do something in the system. There's a quick video that takes you to our YouTube page that you can watch. And then obviously some little pointers down here. Did you know that the system can do this? So we want to make sure that we're constantly giving people enough information about how the system operates so that they can gain the most value. This area of the system talks about the details. I'm going to go fairly quickly, so bear with me. And like I said, please place your questions in the chat box, and then we can use them at the end. When you first enter in HomeZada, we ask you for your address, the number of bedrooms, and the number of bathrooms, and there's a reason for that. We actually have algorithms in the system that help predict a lot of information and get you started on managing your house most effectively. Some of this information has been entered in by the homeowner that's entered it, and some of it has been pulled in from other data sources. However, none of this information is required. It just speeds up the process to help you better understand how to manage your house. The other thing that I think is really important in the system is there's unlimited photos and unlimited documents in every section of the HomeZada application. I love the documents section in the property details because I have every solitary document about my house inside HomeZada. I no longer have any document relating to my house in a paper form inside my house. So I've eliminated all this paper. I can search for it very quickly inside the system, and I know exactly where everything is. Whereas when I had it in a paper format, I had it in 5 different locations in my house. And it was frustrating to me. It was confusing. And then I had to thumb through credenzas and what have you. Now I know where everything is, and my spouse knows where everything is, which just makes it super efficient because I can invite him into my system so that we can mutually manage the house. In fact, you can invite any different party that you want, whether you want to invite your adult children or your parents, or you want to invite contractors, whoever you want to invite into the system, you can do that. And then you can also remove them at your point in time. But you can see that there's all these different information. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. Like I said before, the system's moving a little slow, so hold on a second. My internet connection must be difficult. And I'm going to start with the maintenance. And so basically, one of the things that most homeowners all have to do is they have to take care of their house. A well-maintained house is a valuable house. That is a fact. If you're not keeping a well-maintained house, your house is losing value for a lot of different reasons. You're also potentially at risk of creating fires because if you haven't cleaned out the lint in your dryer vent, or maybe you haven't cleaned out the fume hood above your stove, all of that is at risk of causing more fires. There's a couple of things that we do in the system, and we have 150 recommendations already in the system, and you can simply add them to a task list. It's very simple, or you can customize it by simply adding a new task, whatever that task needs to be. Our customers use this not only to track home maintenance, but sometimes they use it to know when they need to groom their dog or when they need to go to a soccer match with their kids. And I'm going to show you some more details about what that looks like. But when they have that information, they can see it in a list view, and then they can determine where everything is. These are overdue tasks. We can complete it, snooze it, delete it. We can go directly to the task from the list view, and we can take a look at what the information is, who's responsible, what type of task it is it maintenance, yard work, fix it, or cleaning, and then also what are the costs. This is what I love about this system is I know exactly what my costs are year over year for certain maintenance tasks, and I actually track that. And I want to know and prepare for the next year on exactly what my costs are going to be, or I need to know how to maneuver where the costs are. So I may not be able to afford certain maintenance tasks in one year, or I may not be able to afford them twice in a year. So maybe I can only do them once in a year. It gives me visibility in how I'm managing my maintenance activities. And you can see each task has a how-to, and that is also written on how to do it if you choose to do it yourself. And there's a video showing you how to do it. You may actually find that you want to outsource it. This information also helps make that decision. The other thing that we have as it relates to maintenance is we have calendar views. A lot of our customers prefer this calendar view because they can see it and then they can start maneuvering items around. So as you can tell, this item is coming due. Replace your central air conditioning information. I can simply move it to the following week by dragging and dropping it, or 2 weeks by dragging and dropping it. I can also go into the item directly from this location. So that gives you kind of a high level on maintenance. When it comes to projects, as we said earlier, or I said earlier, not everybody comes from a construction background or a project management background, and projects can be very frustrating and can be very challenging. We're trying to make this process easier. So like we have in the maintenance section, we also have templates on the projects, the common projects in the United States, and you can easily create a project by simply clicking the button. Once you click that button, the template for that project will be in the system. What I'm going to do is show you briefly what a project looks like with information in it. What we've done is we've helped establish a budget, and then we also track the financial picture because, as you can see, the initial estimate was much lower than the anticipated project budget. But this person came under budget significantly, so they came closer to their quick estimate, but they still needed to come up with almost $41,000, or excuse me, $6,000 more in cost to make sure that they could manage and find that money so that they can finish this project. But one of the things that we want to make sure you understand as a homeowner is we have the list of items that you need to consider for that project. And we pre-populate all of those items for each one of those projects in our project template so that you can make a determination. Am I actually going to need all of this? Or do I have to eliminate items? And if I create a budget, do I need to update and change where I can spend more money? So let's say you want that beautiful Bosch dishwasher, but it's breaking your budget. Maybe then you have to make a decision and maybe go for a less expensive tile or countertop. So it helps make that decision-making process a little bit easier. And then obviously you can take all the photos of the before and after and also track all of your documents. As I said before, every section has a document and photos area, and then you can go into that. We're going to go back to one area that I love, which is inventory. Inventory is all about managing the things in your house. And as Darla was saying, we are filled with a lot of natural disasters this year, but not just natural disasters, because everybody thinks it's never going to happen to them. And generally it does. But there's other areas where things do happen that are very common. 1 in 5 homes are burglarized in the United States. That's a lot of homes. And there's 150 homeowners throughout the entire United States. So it's a lot of homes that are burglarized. The other thing that happens too is there's a lot of house fires that are not caused from wildfires. They're actually caused from accidental stove situations, or as I said earlier, not cleaning a dryer vent, or having a grill maybe a little too close to the house and a spark flies up. The other thing that happens too is not without taking care of a house, oftentimes you can have floods. And those floods come from a burst pipe or a broken faucet that's been dripping for so long, little things like that. And you want to make sure that you're actually tracking all of this information in case you do have a claim, or in case you need to file a report with a police officer. If you have the specific data that you need, it'll be much more effective. So I said earlier that we track, when you give us the number of bedrooms and number of bathrooms and the address, we can actually predict some generic areas of the property. We, one, predict the type of maintenance tasks that you have in your property. If you live in an area where it's cold, we can predict the cold weather areas. If you happen to live in an area where I live, which is California, we don't really get a lot of snow unless you're in the mountains. And so no cold weather maintenance tasks are needed in my house. However, the other thing that we track is the generic spaces and the generic items in your house. And this speeds up the process of taking an inventory, because everybody says it's always complicated taking an inventory. We made it easier. In fact, you can use your mobile phone with the app and you can quickly take photos just by using your mobile phone and upload them to the system to make sure that you are ready if God forbid something should happen. But if you can see here, we have all the different rooms. We have photographs about the room, but also the number of items in each room so you can see what's going on. And then this is what it looks like when we set up your system. There's been no photograph taken. These are all photographs that have been taken and uploaded by a homeowner. We also go into the area like a family room, and we have details about that space. One of the things that our customers love is this paint and paint color. This helped me recently when I had to paint the inside of my house. I liked the color that it was. I just needed to refresh it because it was a little bit old. I sent the paint color to my painter. He went and picked up the paint. We painted the house. There was no back and forth. It was amazing on how much time I saved and how efficient it was, and the time of my painter, because he would have charged me for his activity going back and forth. So just a simple paint color saved me a lot of money and a lot of time and created an amazing amount of efficiencies. You can also change the names of any room simply by typing in and changing it, as you can see here. And then we also go to the items in those rooms. Once again, we predict a lot of the items. Some of these items have been since added because this person clearly likes their sports memorabilia. And one of the other things that we do is we drill down into those items for as much detail or as little detail as a homeowner wants to track. In this case, a television is a really great example because you not only can type in the name, but we also talk about the type of item it is. In this case, it is not a fixed item, it's a possession. A fixed item stays with the house. A possession moves into a moving truck if ever you need it. You can also choose from the download of categories that exist, or you can simply type in and change a category and add it, and it will just come up in your reporting at the end. The value, you can actually track the value that you paid for it, or if it's an item like a jewelry or something, you can track the appraisal value. This is all information that you would need to enter or work with a professional to help you enter it. And then branding as well. We have a lot of information because a lot of our customers like a lot of data about their items. So tracking where the item was purchased and when also helps them. Not everybody wants to track this. This information is not required. All of this can stay blank if you so choose. We just have it in there because a lot of people want as much detail as they can possibly get, while some of our customers are simply putting in photos because they want to protect what they own in case of that situation. The other thing that we've added, because we have a lot of customers actually planning for the next phase of life. And so they requested estate planning capabilities. They can simply add an individual or a company or some other charitable organization into this field, and then they can put the estate planning notes. A separate printable report can be printed on nothing but just who gets what from your estate when you're in the next phase of life, and you can provide that information to your estate or trust attorney to make sure that they have that information. And so, as we said, none of the information is required. It's optional. So the fields are generally blank, but it gives the customers the flexibility to add as much detail as they like as well, or they can come back to items at a later date and keep filling in information. The other thing that we do, and I thought this was very valuable, is you can take multiple photographs. When it comes to electronics, I'm pretty particular, especially myself, because I'm in the tech industry. I tend to take a lot of photographs specifically of my technology and specifically of my computers. Some people do not. A lot of the photographs that I take are drilled down into not only the television or the screen itself, but also the serial number. This photograph I take actually much closer, and I can see the serial number, the model number, if I don't feel like filling out the fields, or I have it as a record. I also tend to take photographs of receipts. Oftentimes receipts can come to you electronically, but I tend to take photographs of them, and then you can present any documents that you want. I track all my owner's manuals. Like I said, I threw all of that paperwork out. I don't want that paperwork in my house, and I've become much more efficient because I've taken the time to add this information into HomeZada, and I took it piece by piece. And I started with the inventory, then I went to the maintenance, and so on and so forth. And then that gives you kind of an overview of HomeZada. We do have a financial picture, as I talked to you about. We do have the ability to use this information when you're buying and selling your house, because you can expose it. And then we do have reports that shows you the quantity of items in a particular room, the dollar values if you've decided to enter those into a particular room, the maintenance costs that you have year over year, project budgets, so on and so forth. But we are limited with time, so I'm going to turn it back over to Darla so she can tell you a little bit more about what she's offering as it pertains to home inventories in particular. So Darla, let me do this. Let me find you and unmute you. There you go. It's all you.
Great. Thank you. That was so great, Beth. I really appreciate you going through that. We are at the end of the call, so I want to just go over sort of re-summarize 5 things that I love about HomeZada. There's probably at least 5 more that I could cover, but just due to time, I'm going to tell you about 5 things that I love about HomeZada as a professional organizer and as a homeowner. And then I want to cover the special offer that I'm going to make available to my clients, my audience, my listeners through October 15th, which is this Sunday, 2017. And so I'll give you that special offer. But just to, and in fact, I'll do it now. I normally charge $350 for an organizing session, and that's usually half a day. But I am so passionate about what this particular platform can do for the people that I work with that I am going to offer, whether you are located here in the Philadelphia area or across the country or even across the world, we will work with you. And I have a very specific way that we do this. I have a surprise, surprise method and system for how we do this. But we will work with you on a standard first floor, and we can talk about what that means. You know, generally that's going to be a living room, dining room, kitchen, office, or family room sort of area. So that first floor, we will either take pictures if we are located in Philadelphia, or we will coach you on taking pictures, as Beth had talked about, and we will then load that information into HomeZada for you in bulk, and we will do that for a special price of $299. So you're saving over $50, and again, it is well worth it if you have just one thing that you need to either save time or money on, or you need to make an insurance claim. So that is a special offer for anyone who's listening to this before October 15th, midnight US time, 2017. And why would you do that? Well, if you've ever tried to take photographs of an interior space, especially in a closet or the back of electronics, you will know that it is not easy to do. There is, there are some very specific things that you have to do in order to get those pictures so that they are actually going to be useful for you. And then loading them up, we will do it in a bulk way, so it's very straightforward, easy, and it's, most importantly, it's done. It's done. I think Beth mentioned that, getting that information in the platform is kind of the hardest part, and we want to get rid of that speed bump for you. So we are willing to either do it for you or work with you virtually and coach you, and then upload the information on our end so that we can get you started and get you secured on at least that first floor. And then there's always opportunity to either show you how to do it on another floor or do it for you. But just to wrap up, there are 5 things that I love about HomeZada, and in no particular order, I'm going to share with you. The first thing I love, of course, is that we all know we should have a home inventory, but how many of us do? For insurance and other reasons that Beth went over tonight, it's great to have a complete and correct home inventory, and HomeZada allows you to do that with unlimited documents and unlimited photos, and that is really what most of my clients need. The second thing is, Beth stated, and it is so true, that a well-maintained home is a valuable home. And I can tell you that when we stage homes, often half of the recommendations that we are telling clients in the course of staging are home maintenance projects. They are what we call deferred maintenance. So things that the homeowner knows that they probably should have been doing anyway, but when they get ready to sell a home, they quick do these things. And so if we can have you enjoying a valuable home the entire time that you live there and not just pass on the valuable home to the new owner, we call that a win. The third thing is, I can tell you from experience that once you start doing your home inventory in your own home, that it is the quickest way to get a hold of impulse spending. So if you value the items in your home, you walk around and you tally up the amount of things that you actually own, it may be a wake-up call for you, and you may decide that you're going to hold back on spending for possessions or other things that don't actually bring you value long term. And that's a very it's a great tool for people who are really trying to curtail their spending. Fourth, Beth talked about reducing paper clutter by loading up warranties, manuals, receipts, and other important home documents right into HomeZada. And that is great, not only because it does reduce home clutter and paper clutter, but also because when you are off-site, whether you are on vacation or you're at a second home or you're just in the Home Depot trying to make a purchase, you then have access to those documents, those important documents. And last but not least, there's more. I'm just sticking to 5 here. Managing a second property or helping a family member, maybe an elderly parent, manage their property when you can't actually be there. HomeZada is a great platform to help you with that as well. So those are 5 reasons that I love HomeZada. It really has come along in the number of years that I've been working with it. I would not share something brand new that didn't work with my clients. I value your time too much. And so that's why I'm really passionate about this. I do want to get this out there. I want people using it. And so I'm offering that $299 appointment to get you started. And that is available to you whether you live here in the Philadelphia area, where we will come out and work with you personally on site, or if you live any place else in the US or even across the world, we can actually get you started and make that happen. So it is 8:38. We went just a couple of minutes over, but I'm going to ask Beth if you have anything else to add on, and then we'll wrap up and make sure that this recording is available to folks to listen to after this.
Thank you, Darla. No, I don't have anything else to add except that I almost burst out into complete laughter because you are absolutely correct on some of the things that HomeZada can do. And the one about impulse spending literally took me by surprise because it also helped me do that as well. And it was amazing. You realize what you have in your home and you realize that it's what you earn when you work for it. So you want to take care of it.
That's right. Yep. So great. So I hope we have convinced you to do something. Even if you don't use HomeZada, you can certainly do. There are other ways to do a home inventory, but I don't think there's a better way, personally. And if you're really interested, you can go on my website and hear what I've said about it over the years. You can look up articles on doing a home inventory, taking an inventory of your possessions. But I really think this is the time in history when we should use the tools that we have, the good tools that we have, and I think HomeZada is one of them. So thank you, Beth, for spending your time with us tonight. Thank you for recording this call so we can have it available to listen to. And you can get a hold of me at darla@heartworkorg.com or 856-905-3202. HomeZada is homezada.com. And please ask us questions and get a hold of us.
Have a great day, everyone.